Question 5 is coming from trigonometry part. Prove the identity, this one here. So I'll begin with the left side. This sine squared x, then minus the cosine of x minus 1. We divide by 1 plus cos of x. This one is going to give us what? Since I'm seeing cos here, cos everywhere, I can express sine squared x in terms of cosine. Okay, this one can be 1 minus cos squared of x, because the trigonometric identity, the Pythagorean identity here we have is sine squared an angle plus cos squared an angle gives us 1, right? Then minus cos of x here minus 1. Then we divide by 1 plus the cosine of x. This is minus 1. And that is a positive 1, so that one disappears. So meaning we are remaining with negative cos squared of x minus the cosine of x, then out of 1 plus cos of x. I can actually factorize the cos here because it is common. So if I factorize out negative cosine of x, even here they want negative cosine of x. So if I factorize it out, that means since all of these ones are negatives, then they are going to become positives inside the brackets. So we shall have here cosine of x, then plus 1, okay? Then we divide by 1 plus the cosine of x. Automatically, this one is the same as that, so it goes, and then we are going to have our answer as negative cosine of x. As simple as that. Then next part B, hence solve this equation here. So hence, meaning begin from where you have stopped. Now we have seen up here, we have 1 plus cosine. But then down here, we are having 2 plus 2 cosine. So this simply implies I can factorize out the 2. Okay? And then we have something like this. Sine squared x minus cos of x minus 1. Then we divide by, this one will be 1 plus cosine of x. Okay, so I've pulled out a 2 that is common here and I've put it outside. So that means this whole thing, remember, is equal to this. Okay, then we shall say a half of negative cosine of x then is equal to a quarter. You see that? Then of course, what are we going to do? If you get a quarter, divide by a half, what do you get? That is a quarter, then times 2 over 1, which will give us a half. But there is a minus, so meaning cosine of x is going to be equal to negative a half. So x will be the arc cosine of negative a half. When you put this one in the calculator straight away, it will give you the obtuse angle, which is 120. Okay, but you don't have the other answer. Since they are saying from 0 to 360, then we have to look at all the 4 quadrants. Okay, in the first quadrant, all of them are positive. Okay, in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. In the third quadrant, only tan is positive. And then in the fourth quadrant, only cosine is positive. So since this one is a negative, then we go to the quadrants where cosine is negative. That has to be here in the second quadrant and the third quadrant. Okay, so if I have this one as my x, let's say, then even this one is going to be x because opposite angles are equal. The same with this one here, like that. So to get an angle in the second quadrant, I'll get this 180, then minus the x that I have there. So we shall have 180 here minus x. And of course, to get the angle in the third quadrant, that will be 180, then plus the x that is here. So we shall have 180 plus the x here. So what I always say, first of all, when you move anti-clockwise, the angles are positive. When you move clockwise, the angles are negative. Okay. Now, I always say ignore the negative here. So when you get the arc cos of a half, you will get 60 degrees. Okay. Then that 60 degrees, you will subtract it from 180. So 180 minus the 60 degrees. Okay. Then the other one will be 180 plus that 60 degrees. So meaning x is going to be equal to 120 degrees and then 240 degrees. That is that. Alternatively, somebody can say that after them getting the arc cos of this and they get it as 120 degrees, okay, the other angle is now going to be 360, then minus this obtuse angle you have gotten. Okay, so when you subtract these ones here, you will automatically get this one. So that is that.